In our divided nation, what can we agree on? Well, that question is raised in a new film from actor and director Aaron Wolf called Restoring Tomorrow. Take a look.
Is there anything we can agree on? I think the answer is actually yes. On November 13th, we are having an incredibly special event with the film Restoring Tomorrow. You'll follow my journey as I come back to my place that mattered. And together we'll have this movement of restoring tomorrow for everyone all around the country. And guess what? That's something that cuts through the divide and brings us all together. And that's what we need to do, is find the things that we have in common. Just like this, our childhood bedrooms. We all have places that matter. This is a story about faith and family, and about the idea that when we come together, the unthinkable can happen. I hope you'll join me on November 13th as we show the film Restoring Tomorrow. Afterwards, you'll see something truly remarkable. You'll see a discussion where we all get along. Together, we can find our childhood bedrooms and our childhood places that mattered to us.
Well, please welcome to the 700 Club the director of Restoring Tomorrow, Aaron Wolf. And Aaron, it's great to have you here.
It's so great to be here.
This film is very personal to you. Why?
It is as personal as can be. It started with a bump in the road. I was supposed to get married, and a month before, the wedding got called off. And I thought, oh man, I was so depressed. And then my rabbi asked me, I came in and he said, can you start chronicling what we're trying to do here? Restore this place that's falling apart. And so I did, and about 6 months in, I started to feel that connection again, that connection to my faith, to my family. My grandfather was a rabbi, and I went on this journey, and I realized that I think I'm serving as a microcosm for what can happen to any younger person in our country, and how it's so important to come back to that place.
Well, why do you say that? Why is it so important to come back to that?
When we come back to our places that matter, when we come back to our churches, to our temples, all of a sudden we're connecting to good so that we can then go, because the building is the building, but what happens in that building is what makes us who we are, so then we can go out and make the world a better place. And it's a big message that you'll see in the movie, and in the movie at the end, I think you'll be caught off guard without a spoiler alert with what happens.
All right. Well, grandsons of rabbis aren't supposed to go away. So what happened to you along the way?
I went to New York to NYU, to the film and acting school, and just became caught up in being a 19, 20, 21-year-old. And then what I started to learn is just how amazing my grandfather was. What he did, the man came at 19 years old from Nazi-ruled Germany. And I think there's a picture of him in the forest practicing Judaism. He came to United States because, as he said, this is the most beautiful country. There he is, because this is the most beautiful country in the world. He arrived at Ellis Island for freedom. And what he always said, he was all about interfaith. And what he said to me growing up, and it's why I appreciate him more now than ever, unfortunately he's no longer with us, is he was doing something that I think is more relevant today than ever, bringing people together, uniting people, letting people feel this faith, this family, and restoring tomorrow for us and for everyone.
So tell me about the film. What does it chronicle?
It chronicles the journey of this temple from the 1860s, from when Abraham Lincoln was president, all the way to the present day. It also shows other places of worship, and it shows my journey, my personal journey, and how I reconnected to my faith. And what I hope, it's Tuesday, November 13th, that it's going to be in theaters across the country. And with all of the pointing fingers that's going on right now in our country, I hope we can reach out our hands instead and stop the hate and start the hope. And
so there's a synagogue in L.A.?
Yes.
From 1860?
Yes, it started when the L.A., the population, guess how much?
20,000?
5,000.
5,000.
5,000 people. And so it shows how this synagogue has been a fly on the wall throughout the history of our country. And what it also shows is how it needs to be, and places like it need to be flies on the wall for the next 100 years. And we, as younger Americans, as younger leaders in our community, need to be those voices for the future, because as we say in the movie, we are the ancestors for the future. And the more that we can promote this hope and promote this idea of family, and that's why I want people to bring their grandparents. I want you to go on November 13th with your families. And you'll see at the end, I think you'll feel something truly special and connect again.
I just find it really unusual. There's a synagogue in L.A. from 1860, and it's absolutely spectacular. I mean, this is a synagogue of synagogues. This is a beautiful place. Why does it go into disrepair? What happened to the synagogue that it declined?
There's two words that come to mind: complacency and neglect. Complacency from my generation, and neglect because of that. So all of a sudden, you're losing a place that is so important. And we just had an event. I was at Shabbat services there, and the event was so powerful because it was about the hate crimes that have been going on. And there were people of all religions on the stage together, uniting as one. And that's what places like this stand for. They're the places we want to go to when it matters most, when things are tough, when times are tough, when bumps in the road happen. And we need to have these places and preserve them. And it's our duty as younger Americans to make sure that they're alive for 100 years to come. And that's the message, is let's preserve it. Let's preserve it for our faith, for our family, and for the future of our country.
You can't talk about synagogues in America today without saying the word Pittsburgh. And it's unfortunate a whole city has become now, you just say Pittsburgh, and your mind immediately goes to the shooting in the synagogue.
It's why, you know, I wish my grandfather was here, because he'd have better words than me. But
you're doing great. You've got great words.
The moment that happened, I said, you know what we need to do? This is a movement now. And on Tuesday, November 13th, I want to raise money to help the victims' families of all the hate crimes that have been going on. And Pittsburgh stands out, now Thousand Oaks. And we need to do that. And so we're giving a portion of the proceeds to the victims of hate, because the America that my grandfather came to in that picture when he's on Ellis Island is not the America of going and shooting up places of worship. They're called sanctuaries. They're called sanctuaries. They're called churches. They're these places that are sacred. And the idea that our own people are shooting them up, that's not the America he came to from Nazi-ruled Germany, a place with the most hate. He came to America for freedom and for hope. And that's what our movie is doing. On Tuesday, around the country, we can feel hope together.
You're talking about inspiring a movement. What do you want the movement to do?
You know, I want people to go in thinking they're seeing a movie, and then afterwards we've created a special piece. And then I want them to go out to their community and embrace one another and go back to your place of faith, even your church, your temple, or even if you think you're atheist or something, still go back, check it out, try it out. Because when you go in and when you feel that energy, you're gonna go out and feel better about the world. And to me, that's a movement. If we all start restoring our tomorrows, we all can make the world a better place and stop some of this from happening.
I love that phrase, even if you think you're an atheist. That's a wonderful thing. Well, the film is called Restoring Tomorrow. It's a one-night-only Fathom event, so that you get one shot at this. It's on Tuesday, November 13th. To find a theater, we've got the listing on cbn.com, and we can refer you over to the website.